Revolution was not just about the aristocrats and their struggles against the people. It was also about the ordinary people who sacrificed everything for one cause. Although many lost their lives during the Revolution, most of them were people just like you and me, people who had families and friends. It is important to stand up for the right of man, but Robespierre and the other leaders chose to use violence and terror to make their points, and that led to a great number of tragedies. Today we know that there are better means than violence. So use your words instead of a guillotine, or you might just have the Second French Revolution on your hands. Liberté, égalité, fraternité. Liberty, equality, and brotherhood. Merci beaucoup.
You know, middle children are sometimes more successful than oldest, youngest, or only children. Let's look at the U.S. presidents. More than 50% of them were middle children. Have you ever heard of Bill Gates? Well, if you haven't, he's the founder of Microsoft, and he is a middle child too. Nelson Mandela, a man who spent 27 years in jail, and 3 years later became South Africa's first black president, and he's a middle child too. Martin Luther King Jr., a man who stood up for African American rights, is also a middle child. Julia Roberts, a Hollywood actress, and guess what she is?
A middle child!
Right. And last but not least, President Barack Obama was not a middle child. Just for you to know, you don't have to be a middle child to be more successful. There are lots of people in the world that aren't middle children and still very successful. Well, I guess being the only girl and middle child is not that bad after all. And don't forget to vote for Canadian Prime Minister Mia Kidd.
Some people in this world have used only words to positively change the course of history. For example, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and Nelson Mandela. All three achieved great goals with just their words. Gandhi was one of the greatest communicators. He tried to get India's independence from the British Empire and was eventually successful. Gandhi won a war using only his words. He never once picked up a gun. Mother Teresa supported poor people all over the world by using words of her love and encouragement. Nelson Mandela, another great leader, successfully got South Africa's independence using strong words, but never guns. In the face of this kind of good word power, I think guns have no power. Even though I know that guns can cause great destruction, I think they're actually limited to what they really can do. Think about it. If we armed ourselves with nothing but words, good words, thoughtful words, words and our great ideas can challenge how we think about guns. Words are powerful tools of expression. So think carefully before you speak.
Have you ever been on a trip somewhere for 3 months without your family? To a place where kids can drive cars and people nod to say no and shake their head to say yes? Hello, honorable judges, teachers, and fellow students. Today I'll be talking to you about my trip to Albania. Do any of you know where Albania is? Well, Albania is a small country sandwiched in between Italy, Greece, and former Yugoslavia and Southeast Europe. There are only 3 million people living there, while in the Greater Toronto area, there are more than 5 million people. Although it is such a small country, they have their own unique language and their own special traditions. The most amazing thing about Albania is that in this small territory, in the north you can find very high snowy mountains where professional skiers love to ski, and in the south you can find long, beautiful beaches where many tourists love to go. There, in the outskirts of the capital city, Tirana, live my grandparents, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousins.